Thank you. But I think to wind up discussion, I would have the same question to all three of you. I think we can start with Dr. Naveed. That we know that we've achieved, as Abid's saying, that we have the data now, and we've achieved a level of understanding which is there, but it's not complex enough to be making the real sectoral policies. I would, just to understand LEI's work more, what is one thing that you think you'll be implementing in the coming months, which is going to be very relevant to be resolving air pollution, especially from the lens of making the right policy?
Right. So the important thing is that now we know the air is bad, air quality is bad. What's next? We also know through the urban unit studies and through other secondary sources that transport is one of the major causes of it. 43%, in some cases up to 80%, even 43% is high enough. But then are all the transport emitting the same level of pollution? That's a question. According to us, through secondary data, what we have found out that 20% of the vehicles are responsible for 70% of the emissions. We don't know what those 20% are. I mean, could be anecdotal evidence, it could be our hunch feeling, it could be our observations, it could be this vehicle or that vehicle, but we don't know scientifically which vehicles are responsible for it. And when the government is introducing a subsidy scheme or some DFI is coming to introduce a new program, which vehicles should be electrified first? Those 20% needs to be found out. So our goal now, and with the transport department, what we are now trying to do is to identify the types of vehicles that are causing the most pollution so that we electrify them first, and that will cause a major impact in reducing the air, improving the air quality. Beyond that, of course, there are many different things that we can do. There's a lot of talk about fuel standards, and you can say go Euro 2, Euro 4, Euro 6, RON this or that. I think now we are looking at a paradigm shift happening, and that paradigm shift at, you can say, the triangle of renewable energy, especially solar, battery storage, especially lithium-ion, and electric vehicles. This triangle, the first revolution we have seen in Pakistan, we have seen an unprecedented wave of solar in the last 2 or 3 years. The second we are seeing is the battery revolution that is coming to Pakistan, and the third is the EV one. Rather than looking at and spending our energies on technologies that are probably not going to be around 20, 30 years from now, I think we should, you can say, divert some of our attention to technologies that are now coming up. We have a good, you can say, this stepping stone in terms of solar, and we can capitalize on it. So I think this is something which we will like to focus in the next few years or so.
Very rightly pointed out. I think same question to Dr. Umar as well, because again, situating urban unit and its relationship with the government, I think there's a lot evidence that exists which can inform administrative policy down to the UC level a lot better. So any things that you want to point out that urban units approach would be this in the next 1 year?
So, just to speak about the 160 monitors that we installed, about half of them are in Punjab, and the remaining half are in the remaining 3 provinces. So that not many people know about it. Urban unit at the moment is getting data from all over Pakistan, including Islamabad. But there are still many places which do not have a monitor. It's not been installed by the private sector, and it's not been installed by the government. And this is where I think the low-cost monitor really is a panacea. A small urban settlement, even a one low-cost sensor can tell a lot about air quality, and that local administration can perhaps do a lot more than perhaps even the city of Lahore to improve that air quality. So just imagine that if we would have the entire map of Pakistan and information coming through these monitors, and we could know the pockets of good air quality also. Perhaps most of us would like to move there and spoil that air quality also. So we should all stay back in Lahore. But still, there is a lot more that can be done in terms of sensing. So it's not that we've just got 160 monitors and that's more than enough. When it comes to neighborhood level actions or local communities, perhaps you need a monitor, and perhaps if the community is energized enough, it can do something for itself. I mean, just to give you a factoid, The province of Punjab has 191 urban settlements. 191 urban settlements which are categorized under the law as urban settlements. We usually talk about Lahore and 3 or 4 other cities in Punjab, and just we completely forget Kasoor, Nankana Sahib, Narowal, Shakargarh. I mean, these are towns with hundreds and thousands of people. We have to start thinking about their air quality as well. So as far as the next year is concerned for the urban unit, I think we would be expanding this network from our own resources and asking the government of Punjab to help us to expand this network to smaller cities and towns. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Umar. I think moving on to Abid, given that civil society is placed in this hard place that it's not very big, but it is expected to do a lot of things as well. So what could civil society, not just at the Paki, but at the broader level, do to really ensure that the message around improving air quality is delivered to parents, to children, to teachers, to everyone, and they start, really asking for it, not just in terms of social media, but perhaps public interest litigation, and taking this discussion forward?
A couple of years ago, this is all before the pandemic, the civil society did come forward where in collaboration with the Punjab government, health department, primary and secondary health and education departments, they conducted awareness sessions at hundreds of schools across Punjab. And I'm not talking about the elite private schools in Lahore alone. This was primarily with government schools. And that is what then resulted in the education department to take, at that time, the unprecedented step of saying that public schools are shut and also private schools because of air pollution. This movement was driven completely by the civil society to get to that level of education and awareness. And today you see that happening every winter, and it's become a normal occurrence to have not only educational institutes, but also on higher pollution days to have industry and businesses also advised to shut down. So civil society can play a tremendous role, but at the moment it seems there is no visible actor doing anything around climate action, around air pollution, about environmental issues. The health sector in particular, we will be hearing about that from the next panel. The panelists have come, some of them, half of them have come from Karachi. Where are the doctors who are advocating for the issues around air pollution and the health effects that they're seeing? I mean, that should be happening pretty much in Lahore and Multan and Gujranwala and where the pollution levels are high. So we lay the blame squarely on the government and entities associated with the government that you're not doing enough. But as Justice Mansoor Ali Shah said earlier, these laws are flexible, these policies, like we can influence them, but I'm not seeing that influence coming out at all, not in terms of any action. And I mean, you can see the kind of audience at this public event, which is also very, very limited. So, it feels like, we're talking to a very select and limited group of people who are interested in this field, but, it's the most pressing issue of our generation: climate change, air pollution. It's the most pressing issue for Pakistan. It's a clear and present danger, yet it's like a technical topic around data and sensors and question marks, कि ये सही है या नहीं है, ये काफ़ी है या क्या होना चाहिए. So Pakistan, I think, is a long ways to go, but this smog season should give us a direction of what happens.
Thank you, Abid, and I think it was nice that you brought up the key term, that this is a clear and pressing danger for all of us. And we've heard, the senior minister in the morning talk about the health impact. We've heard the federal minister for climate change. We've heard the planning minister, all talking about the health impacts and how breathing this air is dangerous. And that is essentially why this gathering is taking place. The term or the figure that we're given is 6.5% GDP loss, aggregated GDP loss till 2050. And all of that happens in health terms, that our productivity, our children's schooling years, our key adult years are impacted by this air pollution. And as a result, Pakistan will be losing this economic growth. At the same time, since it's a very personal issue, it's important to interact with the civil society, with the government, with judiciary, with media. And as we've seen and heard from the panel, it is we're quite at a risky stage in our trajectory in resolving air pollution. But at the same time, there are solutions being built among civil society, research institutions, and the government. And this is where I leave you, thanking my esteemed panelists that there is hope, but at the same time, a lot more is required. So thank you for giving us the time.